Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this tutorial we are going to create this sparkling 2024 fireworks. So I'm going to close this and we're going to create that file. I have already prepared something, so there's already the first artboard and there's a background. This has a freeform gradient in it, just to show you it's black and dark blue. So that's that. And here's the text. Let's put the text over here and I'm going to make it white in order to do the layout. So we're going to take the touch type text tool and just move around that text and arrange those letters, which is pretty nice with that touch type text tool so that this looks a little more entertaining, just like that. Move them closer together and the last one like this. And now this text object needs to be slightly smaller, like so. So the next thing is we're going to need a couple more artboards and I'm going to create them by moving down rectangles. So first of all, I'm drawing a rectangle which has the size of the artboard. Let's just take a look at it. It's important that it's aligned properly, just whole numbers, no fractions here. And then let's make the copies by just dragging it with the Alt key pressed, like so. And again, no integers here, so let's zoom out and let's duplicate them with Command D or Control D on Windows. Just some more. Let's take a look at the outline view. I'm going to make one more, like so. Okay, so let's select them all and then let's go and convert them to artboards like this. And now I'm going to delete that one up there. And then we're going to select that one and again, Command D or Control D on Windows. This needs to be on all of the artboards. And that's it. I'm going to select all of these background artworks and then let's just lock them like so. And now we can go and design these sparkles, which is quite simple. Just take the star tool and then draw a star. And when you have drawn it like this, then press the Command key or Control on Windows and drag those points a little larger like this. The star needs to be black, filled with black, just like this. So we need another one. So we're just going to make a copy of it. And with that one, I'm going to copy it by just pressing Command and C or Control and C on Windows. And then we're going to enlarge this one here slightly. Press the Alt key and make it slightly larger. And then just take some of those points and move them, just like that. And now select that and in the opacity slider, just reduce the opacity and now we can just edit, paste in front that one that we have copied before, like this. And we can here just drag these so it's slightly irregular, but not that much. I'm going to reduce the opacity some more, like this. These stars are going to be that border around the letters. So we're going to create brushes. And you can just drag one of the stars into the brushes panel, make a scatter brush, and then make all of them random here. Just all of them. So this, and in here you have to watch out that you don't move these too far, because then this will get very messy, and we don't want it too messy. We just want to be able to still read that text. So let's make the spacing of this and of course the size, and I'm just eyeballing it for now. And then adjust the colorization to tints, and the rotation actually doesn't matter because we rotate it anyway. This is all randomized, so each time you apply that you get a different result, which gets important in this. And then of course do the same with this one. And to make that easier, what you can do is take this brush and drag it over that plus icon, and then just take this artwork, select both the stars and drag it inside, and press the Alt key while moving it over the existing one, and just press OK, like this. Now we're going to apply that. So you can select that text, and first of all I'm going to delete that white fill. So there's nothing here, and we cannot apply a brush to the text, to the stroke of the text, but we need an additional stroke. So you need the appearance panel, you need window appearance, and then create a new stroke to this, and just set that up to something very bright, and then apply the first brush. That looks okay, could be slightly smaller. Now to make it smaller, we have a couple of options. So what you can do is reduce the stroke weight, or you can also go in here into the brush by double clicking it and make it smaller, like this. And also reduce the spacing if you need to, just like so. And we're getting this a little nicer. Of course, we need to apply that to strokes. We come to the third option later on. So the next thing is we want an additional color in this. So just apply a new stroke and have that in a different color. And we're going to use the other brush, and this one we can just reduce the size here by adjusting the stroke weight, like so. Maybe make that a little smaller. And the spacing is okay. I'm going to make it slightly larger again, so just like this. So now I need one more color. I want to have some white stars in that. And to get that, I'm just going to duplicate that stroke in the appearance panel, change that to white, but I don't want to have that many stars in it. Now, I don't want to create another brush, and I don't need to. You can just now click on this button here to open the options for the selected object. So what you are doing here is adjusting the brush options just for that stroke. And I'm going to make a higher spacing so we get fewer stars, just like that. So that's that. Now what we can do is go into the opacity of every one of these strokes and set this to different methods. We could select hard light, and we can also, of course, reduce the opacity. And of course, you can do that with the other ones as well. And let's see what we have here. And of course, that's always some trying out. So it vanishes with soft light. So let's set this to hard light as well and reduce the opacity slightly. Now I want to have some more sparkling in this. So to get that, we can get rid of those brushes. I need another stroke, and let's set this to white. And I'm just going to make a pointed line. So just turn on the dashes, set this to 0, and set the gap to, I don't know, let's try 4. And of course, we need that rounded. And let's make larger dots. And now, of course, we need a larger gap setting here. So these are just very orderly lined up. So let's apply an effect, distort and transform, and set this to roughen just for this stroke. You see already what this does. So let's make it a larger size so we get more of these points like this. And let's set up a different color for that. And maybe let's take a look at the opacity again. Let's set this to color dodge. That looks quite nice. And of course, you could just apply another round of dots to that, but let's leave it as that. So that's already quite nice, and you could use that, of course, if you want to have just that sparkling text, but let's animate it. And to do that, I'm going to move that a little, like so. And now let's just copy it and go to the last one of these artboards here and just click on that and then edit, paste in place, like so. And now we can select those two and object blend make. That takes a little, and Illustrator creates too many steps, so let's double click the blend tool and go to specified steps and reduce the number. Let's try out 5. Yeah, that's nice. 5 works. So, and what happens now is the randomization kicks in, so each one of these steps looks differently, but not the first and the last. So now we are going to create the animated GIF, and to do that I'm going to Window Extensions GIF Studio and then import the artboards into it. And I'm just going to import number 1 to number 6 because 1 and 7 are the same. So let's just import them, which takes a little while because this is quite a complex artwork. And there they are. Just select them all. And then I'm going to enter that duration for those frames. And let's just preview this. This looks nice. And now we can export that. So there are the export options. I'm going to export it at 100%. And then let's save that to the desktop. Just close this. And then let's, of course, check it out. And I'm just using Apple's Quick View to take a look at it. And there it is. Nice, sparkling fireworks 2024. Happy New Year.